Peter's Friends. How long have you been married now?
Almost 3 years.
It's quite a long time for Hollywood, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you get some kind of plaque?
Yes, we stayed together 5 years. I get free hair transplants. She gets a new set of breasts.
Peter's Friends was one of the ones that I chose for this Christmania, knowing nothing about. I have a good amount of experience with Christmas movies, so I choose some for Christmania that I've known full on and know and love, some that I've heard of, and a few that I've never even heard of. And this is one of the latter of the three. Turned out to be fantastic. It tells the story of a group of friends who were in college together and did theater together. They were very close. However, over a decade later, they have grown apart, gotten lives of their own, and suffered setbacks along the way. Well, Peter, played by Stephen Fry, inherits this big old house from his deceased father and wants to invite his friends over for a reunion for Christmas. And so he invites them all, and they all reunite, and a lot of tea is spilled. And no, that's not just the fact that this movie takes place in Britain. This was directed by Kenneth Branagh. We all know who he is. You either know him for Poirot-related stuff or Shakespeare-related stuff. He's still around. He's still doing his thing to this day. And really, this movie is a snapshot of big names from the UK that would become bigger names that would do big things both in the UK and in the States. I mean, Hugh Laurie and Julia Waters play a married couple together, and they're Dr. House and Professor Umbridge from House and Harry Potter, respectively. And they're married. And they're two of the best characters in the movie, but I'll get to that. You can tell that these people were and still are friends, because in my research, come to find out, they all went to school together, they all were in a theater company together, and they all were friends. So in a way, Peter's Friends is somewhat semi-autobiographical. Stuff has been changed, and they've been given fictional backstories, sure, but the chemistry is there, and you can just tell that they just loved working on this thing. Like, Kenneth Branagh is great, Emma Thompson is predictably great, but like I said, it's Julia Waters and Hugh Laurie. They play a couple, and they have arguably the most tragic story in this movie, but they also end up like the happiest. They have the happiest ending, if you will. The most tragic by far is Peter himself, played by Stephen Fry. I don't want to spoil too much in this because the trailer spoils way too much, to be perfectly honest. So I recommend watching this with as little knowledge of it as possible, like I did. Just know that the movie kind of reminds me of The Best Man and The Best Man's Holiday, in that these people are friends. Stuff has gotten in the way of their friendship, and throughout the course of their time together, or at least in this movie, all of that baggage is going to be spilled out for everyone, and hurtful things are going to be said, but ultimately it's all going to work out in some way. And that's kind of what happens in Peter's Friends. You will laugh, you will nearly cry, in my case, you will jump for joy. Jump for joy, yes, I know, but it's true. There's a lot to like about this movie, and just, there's so much, like, weird joy to be had with this one, despite all the sad stuff, and there's plenty of sad stuff here. Needless to say, if you like any of these actors, you're going to love this one. Like, if you somehow have not seen it, go out of your way to see it. Jeremiah, I know you're watching these videos. That's your homework. Watch the movie. I expect a book report at the end of the week. I'm totally kidding, but watch the movie regardless.